This is no ordinary moment passing by, my child. This is your divine interruption. Heaven has bent toward you for far too long in silence, hoping you'd finally lift your head and look my way. I've sent sign after sign, whispers through the wind, nudges in your spirit, aching reminders in your heart, but you kept saying, maybe later. This is not later. This is now. This is the second that was carved into time solely for you to hear my voice. The spiritual alarm hath been sounding over your life and you didn't even realize it. That's how subtle the enemy's distraction has become. But I can't stay silent while your soul teeters on the edge of a turning point. I'm speaking louder than ever because this isn't just another chance. This is your final one before the shift comes. You've been standing at the edge of decision with your heart heavy and uncertain, but I'm not asking for a perfect answer. I'm asking for a real one. Will you answer me now before the moment closes? I don't want to watch this chapter seal without your voice inside it. This isn't fear I'm using. It's mercy. It's love. It's the urgency of eternity pushing through the walls you built around your soul. I know you've been hurt. I know you've been overwhelmed, and you think I don't understand what it feels like to be buried by pressure and panic. But I see every crack, every tear, every buried scream, and I'm still standing right here, arms stretched and heart open, calling one last time, talk to me, before the silence becomes permanent. Because I won't let this door close without shouting your name one more time. What are you waiting for, beloved? Another crisis? Another breakdown? Another painful reminder that the world cannot fill you? I know the cycle. I've watched you walk through it again and again, thinking maybe next week you'll start praying, maybe next month you'll come back, maybe after things get a little easier you'll reconnect. But I'm telling you with trembling in my voice, you don't have that kind of time anymore. A window is shrinking. The distractions are growing. The enemy is not sleeping, and every moment you delay is a moment he claims ground I never intended him to have in your life. This is more serious than you think. You don't know what tomorrow holds, but I do. You don't see what's coming, but I do. And I'm trying to shield you before the strike hits. Don't wait until your strength fails to fall on your knees. Don't wait until the peace you still barely hold gets crushed by another disappointment. Don't wait until the silence becomes your normal, and you forget what my voice sounds like. There is a moment, this one, that can alter the course of every outcome if you'd only say something to me. One sentence, one breath, one whisper of surrender, and everything can shift. I'm standing between you and collapse, not because you deserve it, but because I love you too much to stay quiet while you stall. Your delays have already cost too much, but my mercy is standing in the gap right now begging you to respond. I won't force you, but I won't stop pleading either. Open your mouth. Open your heart. Talk to me. The clock is moving faster than your feelings, and your time to wait has run out. You don't even see what's happening in the spirit realm every time you choose silence over surrender. There are forces swirling around you, fighting tooth and nail to keep your mouth closed, your thoughts locked, your soul numb. The warfare is real, and your silence is the battleground. Every time you want to speak but don't, the chain tightens. Every time you feel the pull to cry out but hold back, the enemy celebrates. You weren't created for quietness when your life is under siege. You were created to war with worship, to battle with boldness, to fight with faith. Your voice isn't weak. It's a divine weapon. That's why darkness has done everything possible to convince you that silence is safer. But silence won't save you. Your voice in my direction is a spiritual explosion. When you speak, angels move. When you whisper my name, chains rattle. When you cry out in honesty, demons tremble. That's why I'm urgently calling on you now, not to impress me with perfect prayers, but to activate the power I've already placed within you. Speak, my child. Break the silence with my name. Shatter the stillness with truth. Say something, anything, even if it's raw and broken. Because as long as your silence lingers, the enemy has room to whisper lies. And I didn't die for you to live in a quiet prison. Talk to me now. Break the war with a word. This is more than spiritual. This is survival. You think you have to shout to get my attention, but I'm already right here, so close that your faintest breath echoes into the throne room. I've been walking beside you through your storms, closer than your fear, nearer than your breath, more present than your pain. I've watched the tears fall silently onto your pillow and counted each one. I've stood in the corners of rooms where you felt invisible. I've walked with you into decisions you didn't think you'd recover from. And through it all, I kept waiting. Not for a perfect prayer, not for a religious ritual, just a whisper. Just the smallest "Jesus, I need you." And you don't even have to say it out loud. I hear the language of the heart, the secret confessions, the buried regrets, the silent cries. They all thunder in heaven when you direct them toward me. You don't need to climb a mountain to find me. I'm already kneeling next to you. I just need you to acknowledge me. That's it. Because when you speak, even softly, I rush in. The whisper of your soul has more power than you realize. I'm not asking you to be strong. I'm asking you to be honest. The moment your voice turns toward me, everything changes. I'm here. Don't miss this moment thinking you need to do more. Just speak. Just whisper. Just release the pain, the fear, the confusion, and I'll carry the rest. You don't even realize how carefully orchestrated this moment is. This exact second, right here, was chosen in heaven's timeline for your awakening. You think this is just another message, one more thing to read, one more voice among the noise. But that's the illusion he wants you to believe. The enemy has built your distractions like walls, hoping you'll scroll endlessly past your rescue, mistaking urgency for exaggeration. But I'm interrupting your pattern because your life can't afford another ignored moment. I see the hidden decisions you've been putting off, the internal cries that never reach your lips, the way you pretend everything is fine when internally you're crumbling. The enemy counts on your busyness to keep you numb. He thrives on your overstimulation so you won't notice your spiritual starvation. But I'm here, and I'm not whispering this time. I'm shaking the room around your soul. I'm shaking the ground under your excuses. Because while you scroll, doors are closing. While you delay, things are shifting. While you silence yourself, the enemy is making plans. But here I am, invading your timeline with heaven's voice, cutting through the feed of your life with a final call that won't repeat forever. I need you to pause, not because I want something from you, but because I have something for you that won't wait. I have protection lined up for a trap you don't even see yet. I have answers preloaded for the questions you haven't dared to ask. I have healing reserved for wounds you still deny. But none of it can reach you if you refuse to be still for one divine second. Just pause. Just stop. Let the noise die down for a moment so you can hear what eternity is saying. Let your spirit breathe. Let your heart open. Don't keep scrolling through the very lifeline I sent to reach you. The enemy doesn't fear your belief in me. He fears your interaction with me. Because once you stop to really listen, everything begins to break open, every chain, every stronghold, every lie. That's what he's trying to prevent. But this second, right now, it's sacred. Don't waste it. I'm not calling you into religion. I'm calling you into rescue. So please, don't treat this like content. This is the cry of your Savior for your attention, your protection, your transformation. I'm still here, child, and I'm still waiting on your voice. Will you give me 1 second to change everything? You've seen messages like this before, and part of you might assume it's just another emotional push or another spiritual reminder that fades once the screen turns off. But this isn't like the others. This is not another moment for you to nod and move on. This one is different. This one was carved out of divine urgency, pulled from eternity, wrapped in mercy, and delivered with purpose. You may not even realize how many divine interventions had to be orchestrated for you to land here, reading these exact words at this precise second. There's something heaven has been trying to get through to you, and it's been blocked by doubt, delay, distraction, and denial. Until now. This is your turning point, not because of what you feel, but because of what I'm pouring into this moment. I've already seen where the road ahead leads if you ignore this invitation again, and it breaks my heart. Not because you're a failure, but because I build your path with so much more than you settled for. And I can't force you to walk away from what's hurting you. I can only call you to something better, again and again, until your heart is ready to respond. But I won't lie to you. There comes a moment when the calling becomes a warning. That moment is here. You are not promised unlimited chances. This is the kind of moment that separates who you were from who you're called to become. It's the moment where everything that was stuck starts to move, if, and only if, you respond. I'm not just here to inspire you. I'm here to reroute you. The path you've been walking leads to outcomes that you were never meant to face alone. That compromise, that emotional numbness, that surface-level survival, none of it came from me. I've watched you carry things you were never equipped to hold, hoping maybe you'd just get used to the weight. But I didn't call you to get used to it. I came to take it from you. Right here. Right now. This is not a message to file away with the others. This is a fork in the road. If you ignore this voice now, you'll find yourself deeper in silence, wondering why your prayers feel unheard. But I'm speaking. I'm still reaching. I'm still calling out through the noise, because I love you too much to watch you walk away from the greatest shift of your life. I don't need your perfection. I need your permission. I won't drag you into purpose, but I will walk with you if you take this turn. All of heaven is leaning in, waiting for your next decision. You've waited long enough. You've been stuck long enough. You've questioned and circled the same fears long enough. This is the moment where everything can shift, if you refuse to let this message become background noise. Don't ignore me. Don't scroll past destiny. Don't miss the turn I've laid in front of you. Everything changes from here, if you let it. You've been carrying so much more than anyone around you can see, haven't you? Smiling in moments where you feel like breaking, pretending it's all fine when deep down you're exhausted from holding it all together. You've managed to become so good at hiding your struggle that even you sometimes forget how heavy it really is. But I haven't forgotten. I've seen every burden pressing against your soul, every thought that keeps circling in your mind like a storm with no end. You've told yourself to keep pushing, to stay strong, to not bother anyone with what's really going on inside, but you've never been a burden to me. You've never had to prove yourself in my presence. I already know what's sitting on your chest in the middle of the night, what makes you question your worth, what's been slowly draining your energy and clarity and hope. And I'm not just watching. I'm standing with arms extended, waiting for your invitation to intervene. I didn't come to control you. I came to carry you. But I can't step into what you keep locking me out of. That's the thing about love. It waits. It doesn't force its way in. I've been waiting at the door of your heart. Not as a judge, but as your rescuer. I see how you've tried to fix it on your own. I've watched you give pieces of yourself to everyone else, hoping they'd help ease the load. But all they did was leave you emptier. I know how tired you are of being the strong one. I know how badly you want someone to just see you, really see you, and say, you don't have to carry that anymore. That's what I'm here to do. I want to hold the things you weren't built to hold. I want to bring peace to the places that have been restless for far too long. But I won't do it unless you open the door. This is more than a nice message. This is me knocking again. Will you let me in this time? Not halfway. Not with conditions. Just honestly, fully, openly. If you'd only stop shielding yourself from me, you'd find that I'm not disappointed. I'm determined to lift you up before the weight you're under crushes what's left of your joy. This is your moment to hand me what you've been gripping so tightly. That fear. I'll take it. That shame. I'll remove it. That uncertainty about the future. I've already walked ahead and cleared the path. But I can't pour peace into closed hands. I need you to let go. I need you to trust that I'm not going to leave once you show me the mess. I already love you with full knowledge of every broken thing, every secret sorrow, every wound still bleeding. Nothing about your pain pushes me away. It draws me in. Let me take it, child. Let me carry what's too heavy for you. The longer you hold it alone, the more it will wear you down. But if you'll open the door right now, I will flood in with relief. I'll replace the weight with rest. I'll turn the pressure into peace. But I need your yes. I need your permission. Because even though I know exactly what's hurting you, I still want to hear it from your lips. That's relationship. That's intimacy. That's healing. So talk to me. Invite me in. Before this heaviness becomes too much. Before this moment passes. Before the window closes. I'm ready. Are you? There is so much I've been preparing for you behind the scenes. Blessings that are fully matured. Opportunities already aligned. Healing that's been hovering over your life, waiting for the right moment to descend. But I've never been a forceful God. I don't push my gifts on to those who aren't willing to receive them. I've chosen the way of love, which means I wait for your response before I release what's next. That's why your silence has created delay. That's why your distance has postponed what was meant to be delivered. I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting the sacredness of relationship. What I want to give you isn't just a quick fix or a temporary escape from pressure. I'm talking about a deep transformation, a shift in your identity, a realignment of your future, and a divine unlocking of doors that have stayed shut far too long. But it only happens when there is agreement. And right now, I'm standing at the edge of what's possible, holding all that you've been praying for, and yet I can't release it without your voice, your decision, your willingness to receive. I don't need you to strive for it. I don't need you to earn it. I need your surrender. I need you to say, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready," even if you don't feel fully prepared. Because when you respond, you give me permission to flood your life with what's been held in my hand all this time. You don't even know how much I want to pour into your days. You've only tasted a fraction of what I desire to do through you. You've been living on just enough. But I created you for overflow. You've been surviving when I created you for impact. You've been walking in circles, unsure of what's next, while I've been trying to place new clarity in your spirit. Clarity doesn't come from confusion, it comes from connection. It comes from your decision to engage, to trust, to respond when I call. And I'm calling, child. Loudly, lovingly, repeatedly. I've already prepared the breakthrough. I've already assigned the help. I've already marked your name on doors you haven't even knocked on yet. But nothing gets activated until you say yes. Until you step forward in faith. Until you stop hesitating and start receiving. This isn't about what you feel qualified for. This is about obedience. This is about faith, being louder than fear. I've been holding back not because you're not worthy, but because you've been unwilling. And today, that can change. Right now, that delay can end. You can shift everything with a single step toward me. All I need is your agreement. Because heaven is ready. A shift is ready. But I'm still waiting on you to open your hands, lift your eyes, and respond. Don't let another day go by where you wonder why things aren't moving. They're waiting on your voice. They're waiting on your heart. They're waiting on your yes. I'm not far. I'm not unreachable. I'm standing at the edge of release, aching to pour out what you can't even imagine. But I will move until you let me. Will you? I've been present in your quietest moments. The ones where no one noticed the ache behind your smile, where the world kept spinning but your heart stood still. I was there when your pillow caught the tears you never admitted to anyone. I stood by as you wept silently, believing no one would understand what was happening deep inside your soul. You've gotten so used to bottling everything, to pushing down the hurt so you could function. to showing strength while silently begging for help. But you weren't made to survive like this. You were made for communion, not isolation. You were made to speak, not just suppress. I've watched long enough as you sit in silence, thinking I only want your praise or your pretty words, but that's never been what I asked from you. I want your truth. I want the unfiltered, unedited version of your heart. I want the real conversation, not because I don't already know, but because I long for you to trust me with what's real. You've talked to me through tears, but now I want you to talk to me with clarity. You've whispered broken prayers in the dark, and I heard them all, but I want to draw you into more than desperate moments. I want connection. I want you to come as you are, not just when it hurts but also when you don't understand why it still does. I want you to let me into the places you haven't even let yourself fully acknowledge. I know the unanswered questions that sit like stones in your chest. I know the regret that makes you wonder if I've already given up on you. I know the disappointment that's built up like walls between us, and I'm not offended by any of it. I just want you to open the door. This isn't about formality. This isn't about performance. This is about your father missing the sound of your voice. I know it's been hard. I know you've tried to numb the pain instead of naming it. I know you've convinced yourself you'll deal with it later. But I want to deal with it now, together. I don't want you to hide anymore. I'm not like them. I don't turn away when it's messy. I draw closer. I lean in. I stay. And right now, I'm inviting you back into the kind of dialogue that restores. Not a one-sided cry for help, but a real, ongoing exchange between your heart and mine. You talk, I listen. I speak, you respond. And slowly, we heal what's been broken. You're not just meant to pour your heart out in pain. You're meant to hear my heart, too. You're meant to discover what I think about your situation, about your worth, about your future. This is your moment to speak, yes, but also to listen, to lean in, to wait on me like I've been waiting on you. Because when we talk, things change. When we talk, healing begins. When we talk, the lies you believed start to break. But that can't happen if the silence continues. So don't run this time. Don't mask it with business or noise. Don't convince yourself you'll be fine without confronting what's really going on. I want your words. I want your honesty. I want the real you. Let's have the conversation that shifts everything. The one that starts now and never truly ends. You spent so much of your life thinking that you needed to get everything right before coming to me, as if I only wanted the cleaned-up version of you. The version without struggles, the version that always has the right words and the right faith and the right mindset. But what you still don't fully understand is that I've never asked for perfection. I've never once demanded flawlessness. What I've been waiting for, craving from the depths of my heart, is your nearness. Just your presence. Just a moment of undivided heart, even if it's trembling and unsure. I didn't create you to impress me with strength. I created you so we could walk together in intimacy, no matter what your condition looks like. That lie you've believed, that I'll only accept you when you've cleaned up your thoughts, your habits, your emotions, that's a tactic from the enemy to keep you distant. And I'm breaking that lie right now. Because the truth is, your mess doesn't scare me. Your struggle doesn't surprise me. Your hesitation doesn't change my love for you. I already know every weakness, every insecurity, every time you failed to keep a promise to me. And I'm still here. I've always been here, not because you've earned me, but because I chose you. I knew before the beginning how many times you'd fall short, and I still set my love on you fully, completely, without condition. You don't have to bring a perfect performance to this moment. You just have to bring your heart. If all you can offer right now is a shaky word, a single sentence, even a quiet thought toward me, that's enough to start something holy. The connection I desire doesn't require a ritual or a script. It just needs to be real. I want to be invited into your normal, into your now, into your real-time emotions, and decisions. You don't have to pray perfectly. You just have to be honest. You don't have to fix everything before you talk to me. You just have to be willing to talk. What I'm offering you is not a cold, distant relationship where you're always trying to measure up. What I'm offering is closeness, with consistency. The kind of relationship where you can let your guard down, where you can be vulnerable without fear of rejection. I'm not like the others who walked away when you were too much. I'm not like the ones who only stayed when you were convenient. I'm not waiting for the best version of you. I'm calling out to the version of you that's alive right now, struggling, imperfect, and deeply loved. This is your invitation to stop running from my presence just because you don't feel spiritual enough. You're already worthy of my attention because I paid the highest price to win your heart. I didn't suffer and die for you so that you would keep your distance. I did it so we could have this moment, this invitation for connection that goes beyond rules and reaches into relationship. So don't hold back. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just come. Just open your heart, even if it's just a little. Even if it's messy. Even if it's full of doubt. Because once you give me that moment of surrender, that moment of real openness, I'll meet you with more grace, more patience, and more love than you've ever known. I don't want your perfection. I want your presence. Just one real moment with me can realign your entire life. Let's begin it right now. That stirring deep within you right now, the tightening in your chest, that quiet ache pulling at the core of your being. It's not just emotion, and it's not anxiety. It's me. It's my spirit. That undeniable sensation, the one you've been brushing off or trying to explain away as nothing, is me calling your heart into awareness. The urgency you feel isn't panic. It's the pressure of heaven drawing near. It's my presence nudging your spirit to awaken. There are moments in life where I don't tap gently. I press, I pull, I surround you until the distractions fade and my voice becomes too real to ignore. This is one of those moments. This isn't coincidence, and it's not some random emotional swell. It's my spirit tugging, stirring, and whispering, come closer. Don't wait. I've been working through your circumstances, your emotions, even through silence, trying to get your attention. And now, I'm making it unmistakable. What you feel right now is divine intervention. This pull is sacred. It's personal. It's not meant to be ignored, because if you do, you'll miss what I've aligned to shift in your life. You'll miss the moment that could break the cycle, unlock the clarity, and start the change you've been longing for. But I won't force you. I'm not here to manipulate. I'm here to reveal. The urgency rising inside of you is a sign that what's been dormant in your spirit is being revived. You've gone too long without that deep connection, too long just trying to survive each day without the fuel of my voice. But now I'm breathing life into what was fading. My spirit is not just touching your heart for comfort, it's sounding an alarm. Because something must change. And it starts with you yielding. That pull you're sensing. It's a divine invitation. I'm standing right here, ready to ignite the places you thought were permanently numb. That urgency is my way of letting you know that heaven is near, not someday, but now. And not vaguely, but intimately. I want to flood your spirit with fire again, with purpose again, with that unmistakable sense of I am not alone. He's here with me. Don't dismiss what's happening in this moment. Don't try to bury it under routine or logic or fear. You prayed for a sign, and this is it. You asked for clarity, and this is the beginning of it. My spirit doesn't tug without reason. There is something about to shift, something about to break open, something that will be missed if you keep resisting this call. I won't stop calling, but I can walk for you. I won't stop loving, but I won't override your will. This urgency is me reaching for your yes. And you don't need to have the answers. You just need to respond. Let me in. Let me breathe on what you thought was done. Let me reawaken your soul to what it was always meant for. This moment is weighty with purpose. Don't let it pass. The fire you feel isn't random. It's your spirit beginning to remember what real life feels like in my presence. So come. Yoon. Answer this tug before it fades again. I'm not distant. I'm right here. Just say yes. You weren't always this numb. There was a time when you felt my nearness even in the smallest moments, when the sound of worship would soften your heart, when tears would rise without effort, when my whisper was all it took to still the chaos in your mind. But somewhere along the way, the noise grew louder. The world pressed in on you. Its pace, its pressures, its empty promises slowly dulled your spiritual senses until what once moved you now barely gets a second thought. You didn't mean to drift. It happened gradually. The distractions, the endless demands, the constant flood of images, opinions, and expectations built a wall between us. And now, it feels like you're going through the motions, functioning on the surface while something vital lies buried within. But I never left that hidden place. I've been guarding the last ember of sensitivity in your heart, waiting for the moment to breathe on it again. That moment is now. I am reigniting your spirit, not with shame or condemnation, but with a spark of divine awareness that begins to restore what the world tried to steal. I am breaking through the dullness, waking up the parts of you that have grown used to surviving without truly sensing me. You weren't designed for distance. You weren't made to function with a dull heart and a distracted mind. You were created for communion, for deep, continuous awareness of my presence that renews you from the inside out. And right now, I'm reaching into the numbness to pull you out. I'm restoring the softness you once had. You don't have to force it. You don't have to fake it. I'm the one doing the work. Your part is to allow me in. You've gotten used to scrolling past what once made you tremble. You've learned to suppress conviction by calling it overthinking. You've trained your heart to remain guarded so it won't hurt again. But in the process, it stopped feeling me too. I'm not angry at you for this. I understand the wounds that led you here. But I love you too much to let you stay in this state. I want to make you sensitive again. Sensitive to my spirit, to my leading, to my truth, to my love. I want to tune your ears to hear my voice clearly above all the static. I want your heart to respond again, not because I demand emotion, but because real relationship flows from awareness. I want to walk with you, not just be an idea in the background of your day. You don't have to remain shut down. You don't have to pretend. Just sit with me. Let me peel back the layers. Let me soften the parts of you that hardened out of survival. You haven't lost me. You just lost focus. And right now, I'm realigning it. I'm clearing away the spiritual fog. I'm awakening your spirit to long for me again. This is your moment of reconnection. You don't need a spiritual breakthrough to feel worthy. You just need this willingness to return. And I promise, as soon as you do, everything that was asleep will start to breathe again. You'll feel me. You'll know me deeper than ever before. Because my presence isn't reserved for the perfect, it's promised to the willing. Let me make you sensitive again. Let me pull you out of the numbness. Let me show you how alive your spirit can truly be when it's fully aware of me. There was a time when our conversations flowed without walls, when you would speak to me with a simplicity and boldness that made heaven lean in. You didn't overthink your words. You didn't hold back in fear. You came to me with the rawness of a child who trusted that I was listening, who believed I cared about every detail, who felt safe bringing every emotion to my feet. You remember that? The moments when your prayers weren't rehearsed, when you'd talk to me while walking, crying, laughing, even whispering into the dark. Somewhere along the path, that freedom was traded, not because I withdrew, but because something in you changed. Maybe life hit too hard. Maybe someone made you feel like your honesty was too much. Maybe you started to feel unworthy of my closeness. Whatever the reason, I saw it happen. I watched as the words became fewer. I noticed when the silence grew longer. I felt the space you created between us, not because you stopped loving me, but because something made you unsure of how to come close again. But I haven't changed, child. My heart is still open, my ears still attentive, my presence still near. The same God who cherished your first prayers is right here longing to hear your next one, no matter how messy, uncertain, or incomplete it may feel. I don't want you to approach me like a stranger knocking on a locked door. I want you to return as the beloved child who knows they are always welcome. The distance you feel, it's not permanent. It's not punishment. It's a signal that something in your soul needs realignment, not rejection. I'm not keeping score. I'm not offended. I just miss you. I miss your voice. I miss the moments when your first instinct was to tell me everything. And I know you've been through things that made you guarded. You've had seasons where your hope felt crushed under disappointment. You've had prayers that seemed unanswered, timelines that left you confused, and pain that made you wonder if I still heard you at all. I see it. I understand it. But none of it changes my desire for you. None of it cancels the invitation that's still open. What we had isn't gone. It's just been waiting for your return. I'm not asking you to start over. I'm asking you to continue, from here, from this very moment, as you are. Don't worry about what to say. Just begin. Let the words stumble if they have to. Let the tears fall if they can. Let your heart break open again in my presence, not because you're forced, but because you're finally free. The connection you miss is not lost. It's simply buried under the weight of life. And I'm ready to lift it. Let's go back, not to religion, not to guilt, but to the raw closeness we once had. I never stopped loving our conversations. I never stopped looking forward to them. I never stopped waiting for you to speak again like you used to, with that childlike honesty, with that brave openness, with that faith that believed I was not only listening but responding. That place still exists between us. Come back to it now. Let's talk again, for real. So many times, you've only turned your heart toward me when everything collapsed. When the pain was unbearable, when the control slipped from your hands, when the silence became too loud to ignore. And every time I received you, I never turned away, never reminded you how long it had been, never withheld my love because you waited too long. But I never designed you to only seek me in crisis. I didn't create you to survive on emergency prayers and moments of desperation. I created you for consistency, for daily communion that protects you before the storm even begins. You don't have to wait for the next heartbreak to open your mouth. You don't have to wait for everything to fall apart before remembering I'm here. The lie you've believed is that you're managing fine on your own, that because nothing is currently crashing, you can keep me at a distance. But child, you don't see what's forming in the unseen. You don't see the battles being waged over your mind, the subtle schemes being built around your path, the slow erosion of your joy and clarity. I do. And I don't want you to fall into another pit just to find your way back to me. This time, I want to walk with you before the ground gives out. I want to guide you around the traps instead of pulling you out of them after you're already entangled. I want to speak wisdom into your choices before you regret them. I want to strengthen your foundation now, while it still looks like everything is okay. Because the truth is, spiritual neglect is never neutral. Every day without prayer makes your soul more vulnerable, your discernment more dull, your heart more distant. And the enemy thrives in that kind of gap. That's why I'm not waiting for disaster to reach for you. I'm reaching now, in this quiet moment, so we don't have to meet again in a crisis. This isn't about fear. This is about foresight. I see ahead of you, and I'm trying to prepare you through presence. You've been running on empty more often than you admit. And though you've gotten good at pretending everything's fine, I see the wear in your spirit. I see the moments when you break down in private because you don't want anyone else to carry the weight you've taken on. But here's what you need to know. I didn't create you to carry it without me. I didn't call you to shoulder every decision, every pressure, every plan by yourself. You weren't meant to navigate this life on your own wisdom and strength. That's why I'm calling you back, not to shame you, but to protect you. I want to restore the rhythm of our daily conversation, so your spirit remains rooted, your heart remains full, and your path remains clear. You don't need to schedule me only when things are falling apart. You need me as your guide, not just your rescue. So don't wait for the next tragedy to start talking again. Talk to me now. Let's build the kind of relationship where storms don't send you running back, because you never left. I'm not waiting for your pain. I'm inviting your presence. Let's walk together before the next fall. There is a story being shaped in this very hour, and whether you realize it or not, every thought, every response, every choice is becoming a line in your life's unfolding pages. This isn't just a season of waiting or wandering. It's a divine chapter in progress. I see the paragraph the world can't read. I see the battles behind your stillness and the dreams you've tucked away because you weren't sure they still mattered. But hear me. Your life is not on pause. Heaven hasn't forgotten the blueprint crafted over you before time itself began. I've always had a plan for you, a beautiful, specific, powerful design. But here's what you may not understand yet. I refuse to write your story without your voice. I could speak destiny into motion in a breath, but that's not the kind of author I am. I invite. I partner. I long for collaboration, not control. I want your hand in mine as we write this next chapter together. Because while I hold the ink, you hold the willingness. And I won't force a single word without your consent. Too often, you assume you're waiting on me, but in reality, I've been waiting on you to surrender, to speak, to invite me into the creative process of your future. This isn't about fate moving independently of your participation. It's about destiny unfolding through intimacy. You're not a character in a script, you're a co-author in a relationship. Every moment you include me in your thoughts, your decisions, your tears, your praise. It's me and you writing history that ripples beyond time. And right now, there are things that I'm ready to add. Assignments, blessings, alignments, breakthroughs. But I need your yes. I need your involvement. The enemy wants you to believe you're just drifting through life, aimless and unseen. But I'm here to remind you that nothing is wasted, not even this moment. What you decide now shapes what will be formed next. And what I long to form with you is sacred. But I won't override your silence. I will write destiny over a page you refuse to open. Talk to me. Let me show you what I see when I look at your future. Let me replace your fear of the unknown with the wonder of collaboration. Don't live another day thinking your purpose is a mystery that only time can reveal. I am purpose, and I'm speaking it, breathing it, offering it, right here. The story is not finished, and it never was meant to be written in isolation. I chose you for a reason. I appointed you for impact. And I'm not finished forming what I began in you. But I need you to stop living like you're a bystander in your own calling. Rise up. Live of the pen of brew. Let your voice become part of this divine conversation again. Your destiny is not behind you. It's unfolding beneath your feet. Let's write it together, starting now. There are moments I create in your life that are not meant to last forever. Openings in time where my spirit moves in unique alignment with your readiness, your surroundings, your calling, and the things I've been storing up just for you. These are windows of divine opportunity, not man-made chances, not random circumstances, but orchestrated doors of breakthrough that require your response before they disappear. And right now, one of those windows is open before you. I've kept it open with mercy, extended it with grace, and surrounded it with favor. But I won't hold it there indefinitely. This is not a threat. It's a loving warning. Because I don't want to see you miss what I've prepared simply because hesitation won the battle over your heart. I'm not speaking to your fear. I'm speaking to your faith. There's something waiting on the other side of this obedience, something greater than comfort, greater than understanding, greater than everything you've known up until this point. But you must choose to step forward. You must choose to act before what's available shifts. Just as seasons change, so do spiritual moments, and I never designed them to stay frozen in time. When I open a window, it's because I've already aligned what's needed on the other side. The provision, the clarity, the people, the breakthrough, it's all there. But I won't drag you through. You must walk through with trust, even if your knees shake. You must say yes while it's still today. If you keep saying, "I'll pray about it later or maybe tomorrow," that window could be gone before you even look up again. There's a grace attached to now, and I don't want you to live with the ache of what could have been. It's why I'm urging you with such intensity. Not because I want to overwhelm you, but because I want to awaken you. I want you to see that divine moments are sacred. They are heaven knocking on your present reality. I've been giving you nudges, confirmations, interruptions in your thoughts, dreams that won't leave you, encounters that stir your spirit. These weren't random. They were signs of an opening, signs that something was shifting. And now, I need you to respond. Because when this window closes, it won't be out of cruelty. It will be because the moment was meant to move. Destiny doesn't stay still. It progresses. It advances. And right now, I want you to advance with it. Don't let fear rob you. Don't let apathy dull you. Don't let comfort cage you. What's on the other side of this moment is worth everything you're afraid of. You don't need the full blueprint to take the next step. You don't need every detail explained before you obey. You just need to trust the one holding the window open. That's me. And I love you too much to let you settle. I'm calling you to something more. Something that will not only shift your life, but the lives of those connected to your obedience. This is bigger than you. And the urgency you feel in your spirit is not imagined. It's divine timing pressing against your hesitation. So please, before this window shuts, before the atmosphere changes, before the opportunity passes, step forward. Say yes. Walk through. I'm waiting on the other side, ready to lead you into the next chapter. Let's move while the moment is still open. Every moment you pause when I've already prompted you forward gives the enemy room to weave lies into your thoughts, planting confusion where I've sown clarity, and doubt where I've already whispered direction. He doesn't need to destroy you outright. He only needs to keep you undecided. He knows that if he can tangle your thoughts long enough, you'll miss what was time-sensitive, heaven-aligned, and critical for your next season. You think waiting is harmless, but in the spirit, delay creates space for darkness to speak louder than truth. I've placed direction in your spirit already. I've confirmed it through nudges, through words, through peace that suddenly surged and then faded when you backed away again. That flicker of faith you felt, that wasn't fleeting emotion. That was me. That hesitation afterward, that was the enemy feeding your fear. And this is why I'm warning you now, with urgency. Hesitation is no longer neutral. It's dangerous. Because the longer you wait to respond to my call, the louder the enemy becomes in the silence. He convinces you to second-guess what you know deep down is me. He stirs up distractions. He brings counterfeit options. He fuels anxiety about outcomes. And soon, what began as a clear prompting turns into a fog of spiritual fatigue, and you find yourself unsure if I ever spoke at all. But I did. And I still am. You're not confused because I've changed. You're confused because delay has allowed interference to cloud what was once clear. That's how the enemy works. He waits for your indecision, then fills it with noise. But child, I'm here to break that cycle. I'm not pushing you into rashness. I'm calling you into bold, timely obedience. There are things I want to release, doors I want to open, strategies I want to reveal, but you can't receive them while you're standing still, entertaining every what if. What if you fail? What if you're not ready? What if you misunderstood? These aren't your thoughts. They are planted doubts designed to paralyze your progress. I'm asking you to stop feeding fear with delay. I'm asking you to remember who I am and what I've spoken. I am not the author of confusion. I am not vague with those I love. I give peace, not pressure. I give direction, not chaos. So if you knew it was me at the start, why are you still waiting to act? The enemy has tried to convince you that delayed obedience is wisdom, that waiting longer is safer. But it's not. Not now. Not in this hour. The danger is not in moving forward. The danger is in staying where you were never meant to remain. Delay is a silent thief. It doesn't come with sirens. It just slowly takes what was meant for now and leaves you with memories of missed moments. But today, I am redeeming time. I am offering you a moment of clarity again, a breath of courage again, a reset. Not because you've done everything right, but because I want you moving forward. I'm standing in the gap between what could be lost and what is still available. And I'm saying clearly, go now. Speak now. Move now. Trust now. Before delay becomes disobedience. Before hesitation becomes a prison. I've called you. I've equipped you. And now I'm waiting for you to believe that the time is now, not later, not someday, but this very moment. Let your next step silence the enemy once and for all. You spent too much time thinking I've turned my back on you because you pulled away. You've carried this guilt like a barrier between us, convinced that your inconsistency, your silence, your drift has somehow made me give up on you. But child, please listen to me. I haven't walked away. I haven't grown cold. I haven't been counting your failures, waiting for a perfect version of you to show up. I've just been longing, yearning, deeply and constantly, for closeness again. Not to punish, not to correct, but to hold you near where you belong. I'm not disappointed in your distance. I'm just aching for connection again. Because your presence matters to me far more than your performance. I don't want to dwell in the space of memory, remembering how it used to be between us. I want to dwell in the now, in this very moment, with nothing between your heart and mine. I remember the days when you ran to me with excitement, when you shared everything, when our relationship wasn't filtered through fear or failure. And even though that version of you feels distant to you, I still see that child. I still see the purity of that desire, even if it's buried under regret and distractions now. I know life has pulled you in different directions. I know people have made you feel unworthy of holy things. I know wounds, unanswered prayers, and delayed dreams have chipped away at your confidence in my nearness. But I never stopped drawing close. Even in your silence, I stayed near. Even when you stopped showing up, I never missed a moment. I've been walking beside you in every low place, waiting patiently for your heart to turn again, not with guilt, but with hope. Because I don't want your shame. I want your honesty. I don't need 1,000 words. I need one, here. That's enough. Just be here again. With me. Let me in again. I can handle your hesitation. I can hold your doubts. I can cover your weaknesses and speak peace into your confusion. You don't have to clean it all up to come back. You just have to come. I miss your voice. I miss the way you used to lean into me, not because you were forced, but because you knew you were safe. You are still safe with me. Nothing has changed about my character. I'm still the same God who wrapped you in comfort when you had no one else to turn to. I'm still the same God who carried you through the seasons you thought would break you. And now, I'm here again, not with a lecture, not with punishment, but with an open invitation. Come close again. Not because you should, but because your heart was made for nearness. The coldness you've been feeling in life, the emptiness that won't go away no matter how much you try to distract yourself. It's not a curse. It's a calling. It's me, gently pulling on your spirit, reminding you that distance from me will never satisfy what only I can fill. I am the closeness you're missing. I am the warmth you've been reaching for. And I'm here, right now, arms wide, waiting to draw you in without one trace of condemnation. Just love. Just restoration. Just real, Holy closeness, the kind that makes everything else fade. Let me bring you back. Not just to prayer, but to peace. Not just to belief, but to belonging. You've been away too long. It's time to come home, to me. You've been weighed down by memories you can't erase, by choices that echo louder than you'd like to admit, by the feeling that maybe this time you've gone too far or stayed away too long. I see the way guilt creeps in every time you think of coming back to me, how it whispers that you're not ready, not clean enough, not steady enough to step into my presence again. But that's not my voice. That's not my heart. That's not how I treat the ones I love. You see, guilt is a tool the enemy sharpens with your past to keep you locked out of a future I already paid for. He wants you to believe that my grace has limits, that my forgiveness has an expiration date, that my patience has worn thin. But none of that is true. I do not love conditionally. I do not save temporarily. I do not forget my promises when you fall. You're still mine, even in your guilt. Especially in your guilt. And while you keep looking backward, rehearsing everything you got wrong, I've been standing here, looking forward, holding the door wide open. My love isn't based on your ability to get everything right. It's rooted in my decision to never give up on you. I don't keep records of wrongs the way people do. I don't remind you of your worst days. I remind you of who you are beyond them. That's why I came. That's why I died. To remove the weight of sin you could never fix yourself. So why keep holding on to what I've already forgiven? Why keep hiding in shame when I'm offering restoration? The longer you let guilt lead, the longer you live disconnected from what's already been settled. You are not disqualified. You are not cast out. You are not beyond repair. The only thing keeping you at a distance now is the belief that I don't want you close, and that lie has to break. I want you closer than ever. I want you restored, not just rescued. I want you confident in my love, not constantly questioning whether you still belong. Guilt makes you hide, but grace calls you out of hiding. And I am grace in its purest form. I'm not waiting for a better version of you to return. I'm reaching for the real you, the one who's been hurt, the one who's been stumbling, the one who doesn't know where to start. Start here. Start now. I'm not holding anything against you. I'm holding everything open for you. The door isn't locked. The light hasn't gone out. My arms haven't closed. In fact, this is the moment I've been waiting for. The moment you realize you were never meant to carry guilt as your identity. You were created for freedom. And freedom begins with this truth. You are still chosen. You are still loved. You are still welcome. So let go of the record of wrongs that plays in your mind. I'm not keeping score. I'm calling you by name. Walk through the door, my child. There's nothing you need to fix first. Just come. After everything, after the silence, after the detours, after the moments you doubted whether I still cared, my answer has not changed. It's still yes. My heart still beats for you, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are to me. I haven't flinched in my decision. I haven't second-guessed my love. You are still the one I chose, the one I died for, the one I wait for, moment after moment. You might be surprised that I'm still here, but I'm not. I knew you would wander. I knew your steps would falter. I knew you'd wrestle with uncertainty. And yet, my yes was firm even before you failed, even before you questioned, even before you forgot how to find me. I said yes to your future when you couldn't see one. I said yes to your healing while you were still breaking. I said yes to your purpose while you were still lost in confusion. And that yes still stands today. I haven't revoked it. I haven't reduced it. I haven't rescinded my love or my plans for you. But now I'm asking, will you say yes to me? Not just with words, but with your life. Not just when it's convenient, but when it costs you. I don't need a perfect yes. I need a real one. I need a surrendered one. Because your yes opens doors you can't even see yet. It releases favor waiting to be activated. It ignites things in the spirit realm that have been waiting for your agreement. I'm not here to control you. I'm here to walk with you into the life you were always meant to live. I've been offering my presence, my strength, my peace, my wisdom, all waiting for your response. You don't have to be brave to say yes. You just have to be willing. I'll handle the rest. I'll carry you where you feel weak. I'll guide you when the path looks uncertain. But I can't move where you won't invite me. I can't force my way into your decisions. I wait for partnership. I long for alignment. That's the power of your yes. It's not about performance. It's about positioning. It's about letting me be Lord of the places you've tried to manage alone. I know saying yes feels risky. It means releasing control. It means facing the things you've been avoiding. But I promise you, your yes to me will never be wasted. It will never be used against you. It will never be met with disappointment. I honor every single step you take toward me. I celebrate every surrendered moment. I build on every yes, no matter how small. So here I am, once again, asking for yours. Will you trust me with your plans? Will you let me into the rooms of your heart that are still locked? Will you believe that my yes to you is more than enough to carry you into everything I've promised? Say it even quietly. Whisper it if you must. But don't let the moment pass. I've already said yes to loving you, guiding you, redeeming you, restoring you. Now I wait for your answer. What will it be? You often think of time as a schedule to manage, a set of hours that come and go, something to organize or postpone. But I see it differently. To me, time is spiritual. It's not just passing minutes. It's movement in the unseen. It's a living opportunity that either opens the door to transformation or leaves it untouched. Every second carries eternal weight. That's why the enemy doesn't just try to keep you distracted. He tries to convince you that later is safer. You can talk to God tomorrow. You'll pray when you feel more ready. Maybe next week you'll make time. But the enemy understands something most people don't. The time delayed is often destiny denied. That when you keep pushing back the moment of connection, you're not just rescheduling a conversation. You're stepping away from a divine alignment that was ready now. You think tomorrow will still offer what today holds, but that's not always the case. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to awaken you. There is something holy about now, about this precise second where your heart is still tender, where your spirit is still listening, where my voice is reaching without resistance. I'm here right now because your soul is open right now. Tomorrow may bring distractions, discouragement, or decisions that drown out this stillness. I don't want you to miss this moment by thinking you'll have another just like it. When I move with intention. When I speak with timing. This is not random. This is sacred. And it's happening now. I'm not asking for hours. I'm not demanding rituals. I'm inviting your heart to respond in real time, to speak, to listen, to open. I know your schedule is full. I know your mind is pulled in 100 directions. But I also know what you will gain from a moment in my presence will accomplish more than days spent trying to manage life alone. Time with me isn't wasted, it's multiplied. And doesn't interrupt your purpose et protects. You may not feel spiritual enough. You may not think you have the words. But none of that matters. I'm not looking for performance. I'm reaching for relationship. Just pause. Just turn your thoughts to me. Just whisper something. Even a wordless sigh will do. Because when your heart shifts toward me, time bends with it. Eternal things begin. Clarity rises. Be settled. I begin to pour into places you didn't even realize were empty. Don't let another second slip by under the illusion that time is yours to control. Time is a gift. Time is a test. And right now, time is an open gate. Step through it while it's open. Choose me while the moment is stirring. Speak while your soul is still soft. This is more than a gentle suggestion. It's a divine appointment. I've been waiting for this one. Will you meet me here, not in theory, not later but now? Because now is holy ground. Now is the moment that shifts everything. Don't trade it for comfort. Don't lose it in delay. You have me right now, and that's more than enough to change your life forever. I see the list forming in your heart. The silent questions you've carried for far too long. Why did it happen that way? What's really next for me? Am I doing enough? Have I missed it? These aren't just passing thoughts. They're the kind of questions that echo through your spirit at night. The ones you try to push down during the day. The ones that quietly shape your decisions even when you pretend they're not there. And I want you to know, I see everyone. I'm not offended by them. I'm not overwhelmed by your wondering. In fact, I welcome your questions. But the clarity you seek won't come from overthinking or scrolling or searching for signs in places I never sent you. The answers you long for are hidden in one place: communion with me. Not just prayer out of duty. Not just talking when things feel broken. I mean communion. Deep, consistent, honest interaction between your spirit and mine. That's where I reveal what logic can't access. That's where I whisper direction that maps your next step. That's where I quiet the noise of uncertainty with a peace that doesn't need explanation. You've been trying to gather answers like puzzle pieces scattered across the world, but I'm the picture the puzzle reveals. And I won't leave you guessing. I want to show you. I want to clarify what's been hazy. I want to replace doubt with discernment. But I can't do that if you treat me like a last resort or a background voice. If you want divine understanding, it requires divine connection. You were never meant to figure it all out alone. That pressure you feel to have it all sorted, that's not from me. I don't expect you to know everything. I expect you to come to me, to sit with me, walk with me, include me in the questions, and trust me to lead you into truth. I know there are things you've been asking for a long time, and I'm not silent because I don't care. I'm silent because some things are only unlocked through relationship, not reaction. I don't give drive-through answers. I give revelations in the quiet. And the quiet comes when you slow down and lean in. If you only come to me to fix a crisis, you'll miss the counsel that would have kept you from it. If you only speak to me in fragments, you'll only hear fragments in return. But when you draw close, when you abide, when you let me into the daily rhythm of your mind and your emotions, that's when the questions stop owning you. That's when you realize the answers were never the goal. I've been trying to get your attention, not just to solve your uncertainty, but to satisfy your soul. Because sometimes you ask for direction when what you really need is presence. Sometimes you want clarity, but what I offer first is comfort. And through that comfort, I lead you to understanding. This isn't about formulas. It's about friendship. I speak clearest in the places where you slow down enough to truly listen, not out of desperation, but out of devotion. So if you feel like I've been quiet, maybe it's time to check if the volume of the world is louder than my voice. I haven't stopped speaking. I'm simply waiting for your full attention. Come closer. Ask again. But this time, stay. Stay long enough for me to respond. Stay until my spirit begins to unfold what's hidden. Stay until your questions are eclipsed by my nearness. Because in communion, I reveal what confusion never could. And I'm ready. Are you? Every day you delay coming to me, the volume of everything else around you increases. The distractions multiply. The opinions flood in. The expectations weigh heavier. And suddenly, what was once a gentle prompting to pause and be with me turns into a daily battle to even hear yourself think. The world doesn't give you silence. It floods your soul with sound, with pressure, with images and ideas that seem urgent but are ultimately empty. And when my voice isn't the loudest in your life, confusion becomes your compass. I never intended for you to navigate that way. I didn't design your heart to function in a constant storm of noise and chaos. You were made for clarity, But clarity only comes when you prioritize my voice above all others. That's why you feel scattered. That's why peace slips through your fingers even on quiet days. Because avoiding me doesn't just create distance. It leaves space for every other voice to invade and dictate your direction. You're not just busy. You're overwhelmed. You're not just tired. You're spiritually parched. And I see it. I've watched as you've tried to fill that hunger with entertainment, with people, with productivity, with temporary encouragement that fades the moment life gets loud again. But none of it lasts, does it? None of it truly stills your soul. That's because what your heart is craving isn't more information. It's more of me. And you can't get that in passing. You can't expect to hear my whisper when you only tune in during crisis. My voice requires your attention, your stillness, your intentional choice to tune out the world so I can tune your spirit to my frequency. Because when you stop avoiding me, when you sit with me long enough to push past the surface level thoughts, that's when everything starts to clear. That's when the tension lifts. That's when discernment sharpens. That's when the volume of the world starts to fade. I'm not hard to hear. I'm just often drowned out by what you're listening to instead. And I don't compete. I wait. I wait until you're tired of the noise. I wait until the opinions you've chased start contradicting each other. I wait until the endless scrolling leaves your spirit dry. And then I speak again, clearly, softly, consistently, like I always have. You just have to return to the place of listening. You just have to choose to come away from the noise and step into the quiet where my voice can lead. I want to speak to you about things no one else can see. I want to prepare you for what's coming before you even know what you need. But that only happens when you stop pushing my presence to the background of your life. I'm not here to be an occasional voice. I'm here to be the voice. The one you trust. The one you seek first, not last. Because when my voice becomes central, every other voice loses power. Lies unravel. Fear breaks. Clarity returns. Peace anchors. And you remember who you are, not according to the world, but according to me. So today, choose me again. Shut out the noise. Not forever, just for now. Long enough to hear me clearly. Long enough to reset the volume of your soul. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to come back to the place where my voice is the first one you follow. I'm speaking, always. The only question is, are you still listening? What you don't realize is that your healing didn't begin when you saw results. It began the very moment you cried out in your heart, even if you didn't say a word aloud. I saw the pain you didn't have language for. I felt the ache behind your silence. And I responded, not with delay but with divine precision. I began working in places too deep for human hands to reach. I started softening the hardness that disappointment built around your soul. I touched memories you thought would always sting. Even now, healing is unfolding in your mind, in your emotions, in the way you see yourself, in the way you've stopped reacting as violently to things that used to trigger you. But here's what you need to understand. Healing isn't just about what I do for you. It's also about what I do with you. It's a conversation, not just a transaction. And that's the part many people miss. They pray once, they feel temporary peace, and then they drift, unaware that true healing is a continuous exchange between your wounds and my voice. I'm not just applying a cure. I'm building a connection. Your conversation with me is what waters the healing I've already planted. Every time you bring me your confusion, your anger, your weariness, you're allowing me to treat the roots, not just the symptoms. It's not just about you feeling better. It's about you being whole, and wholeness is cultivated through communion. When you speak to me, even in fragments, I respond with clarity. I respond with truth that contradicts the lies you've carried for years. I respond with identity that replaces shame. I respond with presence that breaks patterns you thought were permanent. This is why I'm drawing you deeper. Because healing that starts with me can only continue through me. If you disconnect now, the process stalls. Not because I withhold, but because healing needs your agreement, your openness, your willingness to keep showing up. You wouldn't stop taking medicine after the first day and expect a full recovery. And yet, so many stop speaking to me after the initial relief, assuming the work is done. But I want to go further. I want to restore the parts of you that you forgot were broken. I want to heal your vision, not just your pain, to help you see life, people, and yourself through truth, not trauma. But for that, I need your voice. I need your participation. I need you to meet me in conversation, not out of obligation, but out of desire to be made whole from the inside out. You don't have to come with deep theology or perfect prayers. You just need to come honestly. Tell me what still hurts. Tell me what you stopped hoping for. Tell me what feels numb. Every word you speak to me becomes part of your recovery. Don't walk away because the pain has quieted. Keep walking with me until it's fully gone. Keep listening until you can't remember what it felt like to carry that burden. That's the kind of healing I offer. Not temporary relief, but lasting transformation. And I'm not finished yet. You've come so far, and I'm proud of you. But don't stop here. Come talk to me again. Let me finish what I started. Let me complete the healing that already began the moment your soul whispered, "Help." I heard you then. I hear you now. Let's keep going, together. What's happening around you isn't random, and what's stirring inside you isn't accidental either. There's a shift taking place, in the natural and the spiritual, and though you may not be able to fully define it yet, your spirit can feel the tremble, that uneasy tension you've been carrying, that restlessness, the sudden pull toward quiet, the disruption of your routine. It's all pointing to a divine transition. I don't want you caught off guard by what's coming. I want you anchored before the winds rise. I want you rooted before the ground begins to tremble. Because if your foundation is not firm in me, you'll find yourself tossed by every emotion, every headline, every unexpected outcome that challenges your peace. But when your life is built on me, not on temporary comfort or human understanding, you can stand firm, even when everything else shifts. Right now, I'm calling you to prepare in the unseen. Not with fear, but with focus. Not with anxiety, but with alignment. The world will always experience seasons of shaking, but I've never called you to live reactionary. I've called you to live ready. And readiness doesn't come from stocking up on control. It comes from surrendering it. This is your invitation to lean into me like never before. To make space for my voice before the volume of the world tries to drown it out. Because there are things about to shift. Relationships, doors, systems, even your internal desires. And I don't want you questioning who you are when those things begin to change. You need to know who you are in me before the unfamiliar arrives. I want to teach you how to remain unshaken when circumstances shake. I want to remind you that peace isn't a condition, it's a position. It's the position of a heart that has made me its center, regardless of what happens outside of it. You've relied on temporary things to feel secure, routines, people, approval, outcomes. But I'm asking you to lay those things down long enough to let me rebuild your sense of stability. Because everything built on sand eventually sinks, but what's built on me will stand even when the world tilts. I don't reveal coming shifts to scare you. I reveal them to prepare you. I'm giving you a head start in the spirit, because what looks sudden in the natural is never sudden to me. I've seen the timelines. I know what's approaching. And if you let me, I will guide you step by step through the shaking. I'll show you how to respond instead of react. I'll show you how to remain calm while others panic. But that only happens when you choose to anchor yourself now, before the shaking, not during it. Come close. Let me reinforce your foundation. Let me fortify the areas that still feel weak. Let me speak to the storm before it reaches your door. Because when I'm your anchor, you don't fear the shift, you flow with it. You move in peace. You trust the process. You rise while others fall. That's what I want for you. That's what I've been preparing you for. So don't ignore the stirrings. Don't dismiss the urgency. Everything is shifting, but I'm unchanging, and I'm offering you a steady place to stand. Will you plant your feet here, before the winds blow? Will you anchor yourself in me before the storm announces itself? Now is the time, not later, not when it's obvious. Now, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the moment that doesn't look dramatic but carries eternal significance. Let me be your anchor. Let me be your security, and you will not be moved. You've become so used to hiding parts of yourself, protecting what's fragile, covering what's broken, that it almost feels unnatural to open up. You've been told, directly or indirectly, that vulnerability equals weakness, that being transparent invites rejection, that the moment you show too much, you'll be deemed unworthy. So you've built barriers, not out of arrogance but out of survival. And yet, those same walls are keeping me at a distance. Not because I can't see through them, I already know everything that's behind them, but because love doesn't force its way through. I've seen every wound, every failure, every moment of regret that still stings when you think about it. I know what you've done, what you've endured, what you're ashamed of, and even what you haven't admitted to yourself yet. And still my choice remains unchanged. I want you. I'm not intimidated by your pain. I'm not disappointed by your story. I'm not holding back my love waiting for a cleaner version of you. I want the real you, the unfiltered, unedited, trembling soul that's afraid of being fully seen. That's the version I died for. That's the one I long to hold. Vulnerability isn't about exposing yourself to be judged. It's about letting me step into the places you've tried to manage alone. You were never meant to heal in isolation. You weren't created to carry shame in silence. Your freedom begins when you stop performing and start trusting, not people, but me. I'm not like those who walked away. I'm not like those who used your honesty against you. I'm not here to remind you of your flaws. I'm here to restore the parts of you that believed your flaws disqualified you. Let me into the places you think are too dark for light. Let me sit with you in the memories you've buried deep because they are too painful to face. I won't rush you. I won't demand more than you can give. But I will stay. I will stay through the process. I will walk with you until the heaviness lifts, until the mask is no longer needed, until you realize that being known doesn't mean being rejected. Not with me. There is nothing you can reveal that will make me turn away. In fact, the moment you let me into the depths, healing begins to rise. There's power in saying, "Here I am," even if your voice shakes. There's breakthrough in simply admitting, "I'm not okay, but I want you here." I won't misuse your vulnerability. I'll redeem it. I'll take the very things you thought were reasons to hide and turn them into testimonies of my grace. But it starts with surrender. Not a polished prayer. Not a perfect moment. Just a willingness to let me in. You don't have to be fearless to be free. You just have to be open. Every scar you carry has a story, and I want to be the one who gives it purpose. Every fear you silenced has a root, and I want to pull it out gently, lovingly, completely. I didn't create you to hide. I created you to dwell with me, unafraid, uncovered, fully embraced. So come as you are, not with a filtered version of your faith, but with the whole truth of your humanity. I already know. I still choose you, and I'm not going anywhere. Let me prove it, one surrendered moment at a time. You may think you just stumbled across this moment by coincidence, that it was random, that it could have happened any other time. But I need you to understand, this was scheduled. This wasn't luck, and it's not chance. I planned this encounter long before you realized how much you needed it. I've been weaving threads through your days, subtle ones, divine interruptions, quiet stirrings in your spirit, to bring you here, to this very second. Not to impress you, not to overwhelm you, but to rescue you from what's creeping closer than you realize. There are things forming around you that your eyes cannot yet see, choices waiting to be made, paths intersecting, traps being set in silence, and while everything might look stable on the surface, I see the cracks below. And I couldn't let you keep walking forward without warning you. This moment is not casual. It's critical. There is something I want to do before the break, before the confusion sets in, before the door closes. I am here right now because I love you too much to stay silent in a season where you need clarity more than comfort. I am shaking your heart, not to scare you, but to snap you out of delay. I've sent others. I've given signs. I've whispered gently. But now I'm stepping in with urgency because the time for ignoring me has passed. I don't say this with anger. I say this with tears. I've watched you try to handle things in your own strength. I've seen you waver, teetering between trust and control, saying you'll surrender but still gripping the parts you fear letting go. And I've been patient, so incredibly patient. But now, we're at a crossroads, and the next steps matter more than you know. This is a moment where heaven leads in, where angels are assigned, where decisions echo beyond what you feel today. And I couldn't let you miss it. That's why you're hearing me so clearly right now. That's why your spirit is trembling even if your mind is still catching up. I'm breaking through the noise because there's something I need to protect you from, something you don't see yet. A delay that will cost you if you ignore my prompting. A wrong door that loops right on the outside. A compromise that appears harmless until it devours your peace. But I'm not just here to warn you. I'm here to walk you into safety, into truth, into the version of your future that hell hath been fighting to prevent. You've been praying for guidance. You've been asking for signs. And here I am, speaking through this moment, through this message, through the stillness of your spirit. Don't harden your heart again. Don't explain this away as emotion. You asked me to lead you, and this is how I do it. With precision, with purpose, with perfect timing. The enemy will do everything in his power to distract you now, to flood your mind with doubts, with logic, with questions. But I need you to trust what your spirit knows, that I'm speaking, that I've arrived, that this is for you. You have a choice right now, to pause or to proceed, to brush this off or to believe it. I won't force you. I never will. But I'll never stop calling. Never stop reaching. Never stop orchestrating moments like this until you respond. The window won't stay open forever, but it's open now. Step through it with me. Let's change what the enemy meant to ruin. Let's redeem what you thought was lost. This moment is sacred. It's yours. It's ours. Take it. Answer me, before it's too late. There's something you need to understand. Your belief in me is not the threat the enemy fears most. It's your connection to me. He doesn't tremble when you agree I exist. He trembles when you open your mouth and begin to engage with me. Because he knows that belief without conversation keeps you passive. It leaves you informed, but powerless. He would prefer you remain spiritual in appearance, religious in practice, but empty in relationship. Because as long as you stay quiet, you stay contained. As long as you avoid the intimate moments with me, your authority remains dormant. You become someone who knows the truth but doesn't live in the fullness of it. And that's what he wants, a believer who never engages, a heart that nods but never draws near, a soul that reads scripture but never hears my voice personally. He wants you distant, distracted, and deceived into thinking you're doing enough by simply believing. But child, belief is the door, conversation is the key. I never meant for you to stop at knowing who I am. I invited you to walk with me, speak with me, share life with me. The enemy has worked overtime to convince you that prayer is optional, that communion is inconvenient, that there's always a better time to sit with me, and while you wait for the right moment, your spirit stays hungry. You wonder why peace feels so far, why strength slips through your hands, why you keep circling the same doubts. It's not because you don't believe. It's because you've stopped engaging. You've gone silent in the very area where your victory lies. When you speak to me, even if it's only a whisper, walls begin to fall. When you open your mouth, demons lose legal ground. When you lift your voice, even trembling, the heavens respond. Your prayer is not weak, it is warfare. It is access. It is divine collaboration. And that's exactly why the enemy's greatest tactic is not to steal your belief, but to steal your voice. To make you so tired, so distracted, so numb, that you forget the power you carry when you open your mouth in my presence. He'll let you scroll. He'll let you agree with truth from a distance. But the moment you get alone with me and start speaking from your heart, everything begins to shift. And that's what he's terrified of. He knows what happens when my children stop just believing about me and start interacting with me. That's when intimacy is restored. That's when identity is clarified. That's when authority is activated. You weren't made for a muted walk with me. You were made to live in daily, vibrant, honest relationship where you don't just know my name, but you know my voice. Where you don't just acknowledge me in thought, but encounter me through conversation. And I miss your voice. I miss your prayers, not because I need them to be reminded of who you are, but because you need them to remember who I am. You need to hear yourself say my name again. You need to let your words release the burdens you've tried to carry in silence. The silence may feel easier, but it's costing you more than you know. Break it. Push past the fear. Push past the laziness. Push past the lie that you have nothing important to say. I'm not waiting for perfection. I'm waiting for honesty. Speak. Sing. Cry. Whisper. Whatever it looks like, just start talking to me again. The enemy doesn't mind you being aware of me, but your voice in my direction destroys his plans. And that's exactly what I want to happen, starting right now. So many have taught you how to behave around me, how to follow rules, how to meet expectations that look holy on the outside but leave your heart untouched. You've been shown how to fold your hands, bow your head, repeat certain words, and though those things carry meaning when they flow from a sincere spirit, they were never the foundation of why I made you. I didn't form you from the dust just to see you perform for me. I didn't breathe life into your lungs just to watch you follow rituals without intimacy. What I've always wanted is relationship. Real, raw, unfiltered connection. A kind where you can come to me in your worst moments and still know you're welcome. The kind where you don't feel like you have to dress up your emotions in religious language. The kind where your honesty is more valuable to me than any public act of devotion. I'm not looking for appearances. I'm longing for authenticity. I want your heart, not your performance. Because the truth is, religion without relationship leaves you exhausted. It teaches you to act clean without being cleansed. It instructs you to suppress pain without healing it. And slowly, it convinces you that I care more about rules than your soul. That's the great deception, to make you think you have to earn access to the one who already tore the veil. But I'm standing here, not with a checklist, but with open arms. I don't need you to fix yourself before coming closer. I don't need you to prove anything. I already proved everything through the cross. I already made a way. And now I'm waiting for one thing, your yes. Not your perfection. Not your theological understanding. Just your real yes. Just one moment where you stop pretending and let me in. One moment where you stop trying to say the right thing and just speak from your soul. One moment where you let the tears fall, where the anger rise, where the silence stretch, because you're finally being honest. That's where relationship begins, in truth. And when you start with truth, you give me something I can build on. I can't meet the version of you that you pretend to be, but I can completely transform the real you, the hurting you, the tired you, the confused you, the version you've tried to hide because religion told you to get it together first. I say, bring it all. I already know what's there. I've just been waiting for you to stop hiding from me and start healing with me. that healing starts in relationship, in the kind of closeness where you stop striving and start receiving, where you learn that grace is not just a word, it's a person. It's me. I am the God who walks with the broken, dines with the outcast, heals the ones who reach out even when they don't have all the right words. That's who I've always been. And I'm not asking you to join a performance. I'm inviting you into a friendship. One honest moment is all it takes to begin. Don't worry about the next step. Don't worry about how to sustain it. Just begin. Just come. Speak to me like I'm real, because I am. Pour your heart out like I'm listening, because I always am. I don't want religion to keep you from relationship any longer. I came for you, not just your obedience. And everything I've prepared for your life starts on the other side of your honesty. One moment is all it takes. Let's start there together. You spent so much of your time and energy trying to find comfort, understanding, and validation from people, hoping that maybe this time someone will see the real you and stay. Maybe this time your worth will be acknowledged without conditions. You searched for connection in faces that couldn't fully understand your soul, in voices that eventually fell silent, in relationships that started with promise but ended with confusion or hurt. And each time someone left or misunderstood you, a part of your heart began to believe you were asking for too much. That maybe you're just too deep, too emotional, too complicated, but that isn't true. You've just been looking in places that weren't built to carry the weight of your spirit. They were never meant to be your source. They were never created to satisfy the core of who you are. I am. Only I can handle the fullness of you, your fears, your longings, your complexity, your dreams. You've craved to be known without needing to explain yourself, to be loved without earning it, to be safe enough to let down your guard and not fear rejection. And all of that, every bit of that, have been waiting in me. I've been watching you reach for pieces of love that were always meant to be whole in me. The love that doesn't walk away when things get hard. The voice that doesn't go quiet when you share the deeper parts of yourself. The understanding that goes beyond what even you can articulate. I know what you need. Not just what you want in moments of weakness, but what your spirit hath been starving for. Consistency, peace, security, identity. You've been giving out pieces of your heart hoping someone would treasure them, but I'm the one who created them. And when you bring those pieces to me, I don't just hold them. I make them whole again. But here's the truth. I can't fill what you won't bring. If you continue chasing others to fulfill what I've already made available in my presence, you'll always feel disappointed. Not because people are bad, but because they are limited. They were made to complement you, not complete you. Completion happens here, with me. And it begins when you talk to me. Not just when things are falling apart, but even in the in-between. The mundane. The moments when your soul whispers, there has to be more. That whisper is me. I'm not far. I'm not waiting for the next disaster. I'm here now, hoping you'll realize that what you've been chasing in humans is already resting in my hands. I have the peace that outlasts emotional highs. I have the answers that silence torment. I have the security that isn't based on performance. I have the love that heals without asking for anything in return. But all of it is unlocked through communion. Through real, consistent, honest conversation with me. You don't need to wait for the perfect setting. You don't need to wait until the pain is gone. You just need to turn your heart in my direction and speak, even if your voice is unsure. Even if all you can say is, I don't know what to pray. I'll meet you there. I always do. Because what you're really searching for isn't just someone to hear you. It's someone to understand you fully and still stay. And I've never left. Not once. Let's have the conversation your heart had been waiting for. Let me be the answer you stop looking for in others. Everything you need is already here, with me. You spent so much of your life thinking you had to chase after love, approval, peace, and purpose, like everything worth having was always just a little out of reach, just a little further down the road, waiting for you to do more, be more, fix more. You've run toward people who couldn't hold your heart, toward dreams that lost their shine, toward distractions that numbed but never healed. And somewhere in all that running, you started believing you had to outrun your past, outrun your flaws, outrun your questions just to be worthy of being seen. But all this time, while you were chasing things that couldn't fill you, I was chasing you. Not from behind, not as someone trying to catch you in your mistakes, but from ahead, already standing in the place you were trying to reach. I was in every moment you brushed off as coincidence. I was the peace that whispered to your heart when everything else failed. I was the voice calling in the quiet, reminding you, you don't have to keep running. I'm right here. I've watched you exhaust yourself trying to prove your worth, trying to carry burdens that were never yours, trying to do enough so maybe, just maybe, you'd feel like enough. But you don't have to earn my love. You don't have to race toward acceptance. You're already seen. You're already known. And yes, even now, you're still pursued. I haven't stopped running after your heart. Not once. Not when you doubted me. Not when you drifted. Not even when you decided to turn away. I didn't retreat. I drew nearer. Because I'm not the one who turns away in disappointment. I'm the one who walks through every valley just to reach you again. I've been in the shadows of your silence, waiting for the moment you'd realize you don't have to keep avoiding me. You don't have to hide your questions, your brokenness, your disappointment. I'm not afraid of any of it. I'm not shocked by what you've done. I'm not tired of how long it's taken. All I want is you, not the version of you that feels ready or perfect, just the real you. The one who's tired of performing. The one who's tired of pretending. The one who knows that nothing else has satisfied. This moment right here is me reaching again, not to demand, but to embrace. I want you to know that you're not being chased by judgment. You're being pursued by love. My arms are open not to correct you, but to carry you. You don't have to outrun your shame anymore. Let me take it. You don't have to mask your fears anymore. Let me calm them. I came for you. I always have. Every step you've taken away from me, I've taken two toward you. I know the weight you've been carrying. I know how loud your mind has become. I know the regrets, the what-ifs, the if-onlys that play on repeat when no one else is around. And I'm here to say, you can stop running. You're not being chased by punishment. You're being called home. And home is not a place. It's me. It's where you can finally breathe. It's where you're safe to unravel and still be held. It's where healing begins, not because you fought your way to me, but because you finally let me in. Let today be the day you stop running. Let today be the day you turn around and see the one who never left your side. I'm still here. I always have been. Ready when you are. When you don't talk to me. When you stay silent and keep everything locked inside your thoughts. It may feel like protection, but it's actually creating confusion. Silence feels safe because it lets you avoid the vulnerability of prayer, the honesty of opening your heart, the risk of being fully seen. But silence becomes the soil where uncertainty grows wild. Every time you hold back from coming to me, you're holding back from receiving the insight, the answers, the direction that I've been longing to pour into you. I'm not just sitting by waiting for you to get it right. I'm full of wisdom, waiting to release it into your life. But I won't force it. I won't override your choice. I won't shout over your silence. I wait. I wait for that one moment when you turn to me, not because you're desperate for survival, but because you desire alignment. That's where the clarity begins. You've been spinning in circles, replaying the same questions, analyzing everything, hoping that more thinking will lead to peace. But peace doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from my voice, from my truth, from time in my presence where your soul can breathe again, where your mind stops racing because it finally comes under the weight of my wisdom. I don't withhold answers to punish you. I wait to share them so that when you ask, you're ready to receive. Wisdom isn't just about what you do next. It's about who you become while waiting. And I want you to become someone who trusts me enough to ask, who believes me enough to expect an answer, who leans in not just for a quick fix but for real guidance that lasts. You don't have to live in this fog. I never called you to wander aimlessly, second-guessing everything, questioning whether I still care, unsure of what your next step should be. That's not what it feels like to walk with me. When you're close to me, things don't always get easier, but they get clearer. You may not always know the why, but you begin to know the what now. You may not have all the details, but you have my presence, and in my presence is the peace that guards your heart, the insight that silences confusion, the direction that overrides chaos. But I can't give you what you won't sit down long enough to receive. I want to speak into your decisions. I want to speak into your emotions. I want to speak into your relationships, your calling, your daily thoughts, but I won't speak into a space that's closed off in fear or pride or distraction. You've tried to sort it out on your own, and it's left you weary. Come to me and I'll speak what you've been straining to hear elsewhere. I'll remind you of what matters. I'll expose the lies that have crept in through silence. I'll break the patterns that have kept you circling the same mountains. But we can't do it if you don't open your mouth, if you don't invite me into the very spaces where confusion has made itself at home. I want to evict every lie, every false belief, every overwhelming doubt. But you need to let me in. This is your moment to stop living in partial truth. This is your invitation to trade silence for connection. The clarity you've been craving. It's not far. It's not complicated. It's already in my hands, and I'm ready to give it to you. Just talk to me. Just start. You'll be surprised how quickly the fog lifts when my wisdom comes flooding in. I've watched you try to explain yourself, again and again, to people who only listened long enough to respond, not to understand. I've seen the frustration build in your eyes when your words were twisted, when your heart was overlooked, when your silence was misinterpreted as weakness or indifference. You've walked away from conversations feeling more alone than before you spoke, questioning whether you even deserve it to be heard. And slowly, you've begun to shut down. You've convinced yourself that maybe it's safer to keep your emotions bottled up, your thoughts buried deep, your struggles hidden under practiced smiles. But child, that's not how I designed you to live. You weren't created to carry your voice in silence. You weren't made to suppress what matters to you. That ache to be truly understood, I put that in you. Not so the world could fill it, but so you would come to me with it. Because here, with me, you are never misheard. Not once. Not ever. Even when your words come out messy, I understand the meaning beneath them. Even when your lips tremble and you can't get the sentence out, I hear the cry of your spirit before it takes form. I don't need eloquence. I need honesty. I don't require you to say it perfectly. I only ask that you come. Come when your voice shakes. Come when your thoughts are tangled. Come when all you can do is groan or weep or sit in silence. I know how to listen beneath the noise. I know how to receive what others rejected. I'm not like the ones who dismissed your heart or told you to just get over it. I'm not the one who interrupted you halfway through or changed the subject when it got too deep. I don't get tired of hearing from you. I never will. Your voice matters to me, even when you feel like you've lost it. You've been bruised by misunderstanding, and I want to heal that wound with my truth. I want to show you that you're not too much. You're not too emotional. You're not difficult to love. You are complex, yes, because you are made in my image. But complexity doesn't make you a burden. It makes you valuable. And I cherish every part of you. The loud parts. The quiet parts. The questions. The passion. The longing. The fear. All of it. I hold space for all of it. Because my love doesn't shrink in the face of intensity. It expands. It welcomes. It wraps around your heart like a shield and says, "You are safe here. Let me be your sounding board. Let me be your sanctuary. The place where you speak and don't have to second-guess yourself. The place where you're heard in full, not in fragments. I want to sit with you in every emotion you've been afraid to release. I want to hear the stories you stopped telling because no one knew what to do with them. Nothing about you overwhelms me. Not your pain. Not your past. Not your silence. Not your shout. I created the language of your soul, and I'm the only one who understands every dialect it speaks. To speak, or weeb, or whisper, or sit quietly and let me hear the ache that doesn't have words yet. I'll meet you there, and I'll never mishear you, never overlook you, never interrupt you. I'm not here to judge your voice. I'm here to honor it. You've spent too long feeling invisible. Let me remind you what it feels like to be truly seen, deeply heard, fully embraced. I'm listening now, and I always will be. There's a voice inside you that sometimes whispers, maybe God is tired of me. Maybe he's distant because I failed too many times. Maybe I've taken too long to get things right. That voice is not mine. That voice is built from fear, shame, and a false image of who I am. I don't pull away from you in your struggle. I move closer. I don't shut the door when you hesitate, I open it wider. My heart has never been to punish you for your weakness, but to draw you into a closeness that transforms you from the inside out. You keep thinking I'm standing at a distance, waiting for you to prove yourself. But that's not me. I'm here, right now, closer than your next breath, inviting you with arms wide open. I'm not pushing you away. I'm pleading with you to come close, not because I need anything from you, but because you need everything that's found in me. I created you for nearness, not for perfection. From the beginning, I desired a relationship that was face-to-face, heart-to-heart, not built on fear or performance, but on trust and love. And even though the world has taught you to withdraw when you fall short, I'm teaching you the opposite. Run toward me, not from me. Bring your failures. Bring your doubts. Bring the parts of you that feel too heavy to carry. I'm not afraid of your mess. In fact, that's often where I do my deepest work, in the places you've tried to hide, in the parts of you that feel least worthy of connection. I want to be there. I want to be the one who walks with you, not after you're whole, but while you're still figuring it out. Every time you feel me tugging at your heart, that's not condemnation. That's my love trying to get through. It's my spirit reminding you that you were never meant to do this alone. But I won't force you. I won't break down the door. I respect your will too much for that. I wait. I call. I whisper in the quiet moments when you feel most unseen. And I will stop. Because there's nothing casual about my love for you. There's nothing distant about my desire to know you deeply. You don't have to beg me to stay. I've never left. You don't have to earn my presence. You already have access. All I ask is that you respond. Not with a long list of promises. Not with guilt. Just with a simple decision. To draw near. And when you do, you'll realize something powerful. I never needed you to be flawless. I just needed your permission. Your openness. Your willingness to let me in. Everything you're looking for, peace, direction, healing, identity, it flows from closeness with me. You can't find it in formulas or surface-level spirituality. You find it when you sit with me and let your guard down. When you stop trying to be impressive and start being honest. That's where restoration begins. That's where freedom starts to bloom. So if your heart feels heavy, if you've been distant, distracted, or numb, this is my call to you. Come back. Come close. Come now. Not because I'm angry, but because I miss you. Not because you're in trouble, but because you're my child and I long to be with you. You're not too far gone. You're not too broken. You're not too late. I'm here, and I'm waiting, not with punishment, but with peace. Not with shame, but with shelter. I'm not pushing you away. I never have. I'm pulling you in again and again, because love never gives up. and I will never stop loving you home. You've been carrying the pressure of trying to fix it all on your own. The more things feel stuck, the harder you push, as if sheer effort will break open what hasn't budged. You wake up thinking about what you need to do better, how you need to be stronger, more disciplined, more focused, and while your desire for change is sincere, your method is exhausting you. I never asked you to fight your battles alone. I never designed you to carry the weight of transformation in your own hands. That kind of burden will always crush you. Breakthrough doesn't come through burnout. It comes through me. It comes through relationship, through surrender, through conversation. Not as a last resort, but as the first move. What you're striving to fix with effort, I can shift with a word. I want to remind you that my power isn't released by your performance. It's released through your dependence. And dependence begins with dialogue. That's why the enemy attacks your time with me. That's why it feels harder some days to pray than it does to plan, to worry, or to run through every scenario in your mind. Because he knows what you're forgetting, that the moment you come to me, the weight lifts. The moment you speak with me, even without the right words, the atmosphere changes. You think you're stuck because you haven't tried hard enough, but you're stuck because you've tried to do it without me. You've let your thoughts run all day, but you haven't let your spirit breathe. I don't want more of your energy. I want more of your attention. Because I can do in one moment of connection what you couldn't do in a lifetime of striving. You were never meant to climb spiritual mountains alone. I created you to walk with me up every incline. But walking with me requires trust, and trust is built in the space where you speak and listen. Not just when you're desperate, but when you're willing. I'm not waiting for the pressure to break you before I speak. I'm already speaking. I'm already here. The question is, will you slow down long enough to talk with me? Will you stop measuring your value by how much you've accomplished and start resting in the reality that I've already made a way? The very breakthrough you're asking for is on the other side of surrender. And surrender sounds like, Lord, I can't do this without you. When you talk to me, you give me permission to access the very places you've tried to force open. When you invite me into your internal wrestle, I begin to untangle what's kept you circling the same issues. You don't need to work harder. You need to press in deeper, not into your own strength, but into my presence. I'm not asking you to ignore your responsibilities or give up on what matters. I'm asking you to stop treating me like the backup plan. I'm the beginning. I'm the middle. I'm the breakthrough. And I'm waiting to speak to you in the places where the striving has silenced my voice. You don't need a better routine. You need a deeper relationship. And it starts with one conversation. One honest moment where you stop performing and start partnering with me. That's when things begin to shift. That's when the chains you couldn't shake loose on your own start falling. That's when doors open that no effort could force. I'm not looking for perfect prayers. I'm not asking you to impress me. I'm asking for your presence, the real, honest you. Bring the fear. Bring the frustration. Bring the fatigue. I can handle all of it. And I'll trade it for peace, for clarity, for power you didn't even know you had access to. So stop trying harder. Start talking to me. This is where your breakthrough begins, not with more pressure, but with more presence. Mine. Yours. Together. Let's begin now. Right now, in a realm you cannot see, there is a war being waged for your attention, your clarity, your direction, your peace. And while everything may appear manageable on the outside, internally you've been unraveling. You've sensed something isn't right, that something deeper is pulling at your soul, but you've been trying to brush it off with distractions and daily obligations. But I need you to hear me clearly. This is not a season to coast. This is not the time to go quiet. You are in the midst of a spiritual emergency, and pretending it's not happening will only make it worse. The pressure you've been feeling, that relentless inner tension, it's not just emotional fatigue. It's your spirit sounding the alarm that something is off. Something vital is missing. And I'm not exposing it to condemn you. I'm calling you back so I can rescue what's being threatened. You've allowed certain patterns to take root. Subtle compromises, small choices, little delays in prayer, brief seasons of disconnection. But the enemy doesn't need a wide open door, he only needs a crack. And he's been slipping in through the places you've left unguarded, whispering lies into your identity, clouding your discernment, dulling your sensitivity to my voice. You've been living beneath your authority and settling for survival when I've called you to walk in power. But that power is only accessed through intimacy, through conversation with me, through continual awareness of my presence. And you've drifted, slowly, quietly, not because you're evil, but because you've been overwhelmed and underconnected. You've been trying to manage a spiritual battle with physical strategies, and it's not working. You're tired. You're worn. And you don't even know why. But I do. Your spirit is in need of oxygen, and I am that breath. I am your lifeline. I am your anchor in this spiritual storm. And I'm not just offering help. I'm sounding the alarm. Not to instill fear, but to wake you up before the damage deepens. There are things at stake right now. Assignments that need protection. Relationships that need clarity. Mindsets that need healing. But if you continue ignoring the symptoms, you'll miss the solution I'm holding out right in front of you. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for recognition. I'm asking you to acknowledge the spiritual weight of what you're walking through and come to me not with panic, but with openness. Don't wait for everything to collapse before you come running. Come now. Let me restore what's been draining you. Let me illuminate what's been hiding in the shadows. Let me rebuild what you've lost in silence. You don't need to figure it all out first. You just need to lift your voice and let me in. Cry out. Be raw. Be honest. Say, Lord, I'm not okay, and mean it. Because when you reach for me, I don't just offer comfort. I dispatch heaven. I rebuke what's been stealing your strength. I silence what's been tormenting your mind. I pull you out of the pit the enemy hoped would become your home. But I only move where I'm invited. You've been strong for too long. You've been quiet for too long. And now, the warning has come not because I'm angry, but because I love you. Because I see what's coming and I want you fortified before it gets closer. I want you anchored before the waves rise. I want you whole, aware, and empowered, not buried under the weight of spiritual warfare you never brought to me. So consider this your lifeline, the rope I'm lowering from heaven into the depths of your soul. Grab hold. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. This is your rescue. This is your return. And I'm ready to pull you out, if you'll let me. Speak, and I will respond. Call, and I will come. I've never been closer than I am in this moment. Reach up, child, I've already reached down. You've gotten used to functioning while feeling disconnected. You wake up, move through your routines, fulfill your responsibilities. But all the while, your soul is aching quietly beneath the surface. There's a dullness you've tried to ignore, a numbness you've learned to live with. You've told yourself it'll pass, that you're just tired, that everyone goes through it. But I see the truth you don't say out loud. You're not just tired, you're drained. You're not just distracted, you're disoriented. You're not just quiet, you've gone silent where you were meant to be alive. And I haven't watched this from afar. I felt every part of it. Every sigh you swallowed. Every emotion you pushed down. Every tear you held back because you didn't know how to explain what was wrong. But I need you to know, you don't have to stay this way. You weren't made to live numb. You weren't created to just go through the motions. That's not survival, that's spiritual suffocation. And the way out isn't through pretending. It's not through distracting yourself again or working harder to feel normal. The way out is me. And the doorway is simple. Just speak. Even if all you can manage is one word. Even if it feels like you've forgotten how. even if your voice shakes or your heart doesn't even know what to say. That's enough. Because the moment you open your mouth, the moment you say anything, even just help, you break the agreement with the silence that's been holding you hostage. You interrupt the numbness. You shake the atmosphere. You reconnect with the one who never stopped listening. I've been near this entire time, waiting for your voice, not because I need information, but because your expression is the bridge between your heaviness and my healing. I don't need paragraphs. I don't require eloquence. I just need permission. And permission is granted through your willingness to talk to me. I'm not offended by your numbness. I'm not frustrated with your silence. I know why it came. I know what broke you. I know what disappointed you. And I know that when things hurt deeply for long enough, it's easier to shut down than to stay tender. But child, numbness is not safety. It's not peace. It's a sign that something precious inside you is slipping away. Your hope, your passion, your clarity, your joy. I want to revive that. I want to breathe on the ashes of what used to make your heart burn. I want to reawaken the parts of you that believed I was close, not just in theory, but in real time, every day. But I need you to come forward. Not for my sake, for yours. You've gone long enough trying to carry a spiritual drought with a silent spirit. Let me pour rain again. Let me soften the places that hardened under the pressure. But I can't pour into what stays shut. You need to speak. And maybe you're scared to start because you're afraid nothing will change. Maybe you've cried out before and didn't see the answer you wanted. I understand. But I haven't changed. I haven't walked away. And I'm still the same God who turns a whisper into a waterfall of peace, who takes one honest word and transforms it into a flood of restoration. Just say something. Even a whisper of Jesus, I'm still here, is enough to reopen the connection. This is your moment to come alive again. Not because you forced yourself into strength, but because you allowed yourself to be seen. Speak to me. Let me meet you in the middle of your numbness and remind you what it feels like to be fully awake, fully known, fully loved. You don't need a long prayer. You just need a real one. Start there. Start now. And watch how quickly the fog begins to lift when your voice meets mine. Amen.